Hello and welcome to today's video. This is my June wrap up. I am going to be putting pictures in here and like that sort of stuff. I know that I'm going to hate myself when I come to editing this, but I've read most of these books on Kindle anyway, so the images are going to go there. And we're going to talk about all the books I read in June. I had a really good reading month in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality I just haven't really felt like it's been great, honestly. Like, it hasn't really felt like I'm reading the most amazing books. There have been some standouts and there have been some stuff. Like, if this month I'd only read the books that were great books, it would feel like a great reading month, but there's been so many that weren't great, it doesn't. Even though if I'd have only read the great books, it would still be a really good reading month in terms of numbers still anyway. I don't know. We're having a time. We're having a time. I read 28 books in June, which is like unheard of. Like, I've never read that many books, I don't think, in a month. I mean, I haven't checked this. I will quickly go on Goodreads and check. Yeah, I mean, since I started my Goodreads in January 2021, I haven't had a reading month over 19 books, and that was an anomaly. So, yeah, like, 28 books, complete anomaly. Like, don't know what's going on. Happy, but don't know what's going on. And that equates to 11,250 pages. So, like, a great quantity. Like, great. Like, no complaints. But I'm also still complaining. So, let's do a few statistics first, because I don't think I'm going to be talking about the books for very long. I read 3 books via audiobook alone, I read 18 books via ebook alone, and I read 7 books using mixed media. Yeah, like, normally I read pretty much all physical with the odd like audio and the odd mix between those two. Like, it's very rare for me to read an ebook, so a very odd month, but let's just go with it. And then in terms of age category, I've read 2 young adult, 9 adult and 17 new adult. Again, odd for me, but I think that's just because like I don't really buy new adult, because like they're not really marketed that way in like bookstores and stuff. Like, I've never found a new adult section when buying books in person, but because I've read so many ebooks, they are marketed that way. Like, they've got more age categories and they can easily just sort it out. So yeah, in terms of genre, 1 mystery and 27 fantasy. A lot of those fantasy were fantasy romance, but my way of categorising for the rest of this year hasn't included subcategories. I'm going to edit that for next year, but for the rest of this year I'm going to, the main category is the one I'll class it as. In terms of star ratings, 7 4 stars, 7 4.5 stars, 6 3 stars, 5 3.5 stars, 1 5 star, 1 2 star, and 1 that I didn't end up rating. We'll get to that. Yeah, I had some issues this month, and as you can see there were none that were like completely dreadful, but it's just a lot of mediocre. I feel like 1 5 star out of 28 books. Like, yeah, there were quite a lot that were close, but like 1 5 star. Yeah, I don't know. Are there any other interesting statistics here? I guess this isn't a statistic I normally share, but it looks really weird for me. Is 9 of the books were from Scribd, 16 were from Kindle Unlimited, 1 was off a website where it was like a additional book you can read for free on the author's website. 1 was Kindle that like I purchased on Kindle, it wasn't on Kindle Unlimited, and 1 I owned in 2023. So yeah, as you can see, I don't know, maybe I should talk more about this month. I don't think there's going to be any other interesting statistics here, no. Okay, so basically June has just been a bit of a write-off. You might have noticed that like the videos and the content has been lacking. There's been a lot less than normal. Normally I upload 3 times a week, and honestly this month I've struggled to get 1 up a week. I've managed 2 most weeks, but like life happened, and that's fine. Like, nothing bad happened, like just life. And I got really busy really quickly. I've managed to read loads because of things that have happened, the things I've been adding to my plate, these additional things have been very like physically intensive, but like not mentally intensive. So I've been okay with my actual reading, but actually making videos and having time to edit and sit down, like I just haven't. So that's why the videos have been lacking in June, but I am already getting on my game for July, so hopefully we'll get back to it. But yeah, June has just been an awkward month. I've been reading a lot more audiobooks, like just audio, because I've had that time to do it, and also the Kindle's been great. I've been taking the Kindle like because I haven't been finding the time to like properly enjoy reading and like take time to myself in June at all. Like every car journey we've had to do this month, which like, we don't even normally go in the car, every car journey we've had to do, I've had my Kindle on me and I've just read for like the 30, 40, 50 minutes that we've been in the car. So like it's been good. It's just been an odd month. So let's get into the books. I'm going to go through them very like combined, so hopefully that's okay. I read Where the Drain Girls Go by Shauna Maguire. This is one of the Wayward Children books and I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I found it good. I really liked the characters. I liked getting to see those characters explore. Yeah, it was good. Like I really have much else to say. The Wayward Children books are great and it was also great. I think Wayward Children is one that on a reread, I feel like all of the Wayward Children books could end up getting 5 stars on a reread once you've got the full complete story. But yeah, it was 4 stars, I enjoyed it. Then I read Aerie, which I gave 4.5 stars to. This was so good that like I automatically brought it in paperback and brought the next book so that I could get like reading it ASAP. Like so much fun. It was a fantasy romance, but it was very plot heavy and the romance was very slow burn and it was really like a good way. There was also some great, like, I don't want to say great representation, but like for fantasy books where like it's not like, oh, you've got something that makes you different. I don't know the right way to word it, but normally in fantasy books, like as soon as something happens, as soon as there's some sort of like impairment or something on a person, oh, we can fix it by magic. Stuff like that happens. It's really annoying. But this book didn't have that. It was really, really good at how it like had people shown. Then I read books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 5.6 and 0.5 of Zodiac Academy. Yep. Oh yeah, I picked it up thinking it'd be crap. I didn't expect much and I got sucked in. I'm still like actively reading it and actively catching up. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I will definitely be continuing with it. Like there's more out currently, like I'm on the next book on the Kindle. It didn't start out good, I will say that. I do get why people say you do need to read a few of the books. It's not normally something that I vibe with, it's not something I like, but like the first books were fine, so I kept reading and then I think it was about book 3 or book 4 I was just sucked in. So yeah, it's like a bully romance, or at least that's how a lot of people market it, but it's also like an academic setting fantasy. It's like a magic school. The magical aspects are really interesting. It's all based off your zodiac as to like what type of magic you have, how many different elements you have, all this sort of stuff. It was so good. So I gave book 1 3 stars, book 2 3.5, book 3 4, book 4 4.5, book 5 4.5, book 5.5 4, book 5.6 3. That was a weird one. And then book 0.53 as well. It just didn't quite seem necessary, like it didn't add anything for me. Oh, and then I also read book 6. I hadn't spotted that, but yeah, I also read book 6 and I gave that 5 stars. Yeah, the most recent one I read I gave 5 stars. That was my one 5-star of the month, was a 6th Zodiac Academy book. This isn't where I expected my reading to go, but I'm having a great time, let me tell you. So yeah, that's how it's going. Then I also ended up reading In Mercy Reign, which is one of the short stories that I need to read next for the Wayward Children series. It's a very short book. I gave 3.5 stars. It was fine. I don't feel like it added anything. I had a fun time reading it. I enjoyed reading it. I don't think upon a reread it's one that I'd need to reread. Like, yeah, it was fun. It was nicely written. It was great to see the characters again, but it added nothing to like how I was interpreting the story. Then I read The Marlow Murder Club. This is kind of like a cozy mystery. I gave it 2 stars. I really didn't like it. It was extremely predictable, like extremely predictable. The characters I wasn't hooked on, none of it. Yeah, I don't know, like I understand why some people would like it. Like I'm not saying no one should pick this up. Like a 2-star to me is like not for me. I don't get it, but I get that some people could enjoy this. It was very much copying the Thursday Murder Club like setup. It literally, reading the back, it could be similar except set in London rather than set in A Retirement Village. Yeah, I don't want to be too negative, but First Murder Club is one of my favourite series. It's like my favourite cozy mystery. It's great. I love it. The characters are what pulls it together. I think you could have the same story without feeling so much for the characters and it wouldn't work, but the characters work. The mystery in the Marlow Murder Club wasn't as good, it wasn't as fun, it was way more simple, it was so easy to guess what was happening, and I didn't enjoy any of the characters, so that was that. Then I read the entire Broken Bonds series. I read Broken Bonds, Savage Bonds, Blood Bonds, Forced Bonds, Tragic Bonds and Unbroken Bonds. So that's books 1 to 6. It is a fantasy romance series and it was really good. I enjoyed the setup. I enjoyed how it ended. Like, would I reread it? Yeah, I could see myself rereading it at some point. I could see it becoming one of those book series that like you pick up when you're ill to like reread and have a comfort reread, but like you know it's still going to be good and you know you're still going to pick things up about the plot that you didn't the first time. But also like it was very realistic in like the romance aspect as well, and it was fast burning in some ways but slow burning in others, and it just really worked. So I gave the first one 4 stars, the second one 4.5 stars, the third one 3.5 stars, the fourth one 4 stars, the fifth one 4.5 and the final one 4.5. I will say the final one was close to getting 5 stars. It just wasn't quite there. Like, I actually put the final one down for a bit and that's how I knew it wasn't 5 stars, because yeah, it was finishing it all up and everything was going nice and like it was very well finished. Like, I don't feel like I had any unanswered questions. Like, I feel like it was rendered out really nice, but I was able to put it down and like it just didn't grasp me as much as even some of the other books in that series had. Then next I ended up reading a book called The Coven. I gave 3.5 stars, but I was really intrigued by the ending. It was one where it was like, it was fine, it was mediocre, and then the end was like, whoa, okay, this story's expanding. So I definitely think I'll pick up the next one. It's nothing special, but like it really gripped me. I enjoyed the story plenty. It was enough for a nice fun read, and I feel like we've only just got to start knowing the characters. I feel like that's why really it's not more, because it didn't feel like a full book. Like, it felt like kind of like more of an introduction to what I assume will be a bigger series. We got to know our main character and we got to know who I am assuming is the main love interest. We got to learn about the magic and how the magic works, but only one kind of magic, and we already know there's multiple kinds of magic. And we got to learn how the politics of the world works, or the politics of the magical side of the world. So it was a good setup. It was a decent start, but it didn't feel like a full book for me. The next up I read a duology, Frost and Ambrosia. Frost I gave 4 stars, Ambrosia was a bit of a letdown, I gave 3 stars. Frost felt like a really good book, and I feel like it could have ended in a different way and it could have stayed as that. Ambrosia really dragged. I didn't like where it went. It felt quite repetitive and it kept feeling like there was so much to explore in this world, and then we kept making the choice that saw us just in this little bubble. And yeah, I don't know, I'm glad it was only a duology, because after the second book I don't think I would have continued. However, I still really enjoyed the first book, so I don't know how to feel about it. I liked the characters. I just felt like the world needed properly exploring. Like, we never really saw the world, and it's not just a romance book, it's a fantasy romance. Like, you need to see the world. Like, yeah, I might have understood how most of the politics work in this one small section, this one little bubble. We didn't actually see the world. We didn't actually see anything. Like, we saw only really the magic that our 2 main characters had, and that was it. Then I read a book on Scribd called The Dark King. I gave 3.5 stars. It was fine. Again, a fantasy romance. That's just been the read. It's nice, it's easy, it keeps you gripped, it keeps you hooked. I don't know. I guess I'd say it started out good, and the more I read, the less intrigued and the less interested I was. But it was a very easy audiobook to listen to. Will I continue on with the series? I really don't know, but that's okay. I'll figure it out at some point. Yeah, it was fine. It was nothing special. There's many other books that I've already mentioned that I'd read or recommend over it, but it was an easy time. Then, I don't know how I want to talk about this series. Basically, I've ended up finding it really problematic. I can't tell you it's a problematic series, I can't tell you definitively, but the way that a certain character's gender and gender identity and gender expression was used was like it was a comedic thing to do. I don't know. I read Psycho Shifters, which I gave 3 stars, Psycho Fae, which I gave 3 stars, and Psycho Beast, which is where it got even worse in my opinion, and I've not rated that one. I've just left it as I don't know what to feel about it. the plot was fun. The main plot was fun, but you can't treat, I don't know, it's obviously just a book, right? But like, there was a side character, and the gender of the side character was like a massive part of that side character's, like, I guess I'm gonna say persona, because even though I've read the first 3 books which complete the entire story arc, I don't know, it continuously made me feel uneasy the way that this side character was being spoken about, was speaking about themselves, and was being put forward. I do believe that there's more books around this side character that are marketed as a Mulan-ish retelling, which I guess is how they're going about. I don't know, it made me feel uncomfortable, and like, I personally wouldn't feel confident recommending or talking about it. Like, don't expect me to ever talk about this series again. I read it, I regret that I read it, because honestly I don't know how to feel about it, and it really makes me uncomfortable how they treated that character. And I don't want to throw accusations around or anything like that. I just personally worry about the author's stance on things, and worry that they may fall into the same categories as other problematic authors. Let's just leave it like that and move on. The last 2 books that I read during June were Shattered Vow and Monstrous Power. These are the first 2 books in a series that I don't know the name of. The series is called Shadow Blood Souls. So I read books 1 and book 2 in that series. Book 1 got 4 stars, book 2 got 4.5. But I really hated the ending of book 2. Book 1 was a really good setup. I really enjoyed how we set this up, how we set the world up, how our different characters interacted, and we got to learn about the world in a smaller sense, and we also got to learn about the characters and the different characters. And although we realistically have one main character, we also got to see some other character perspectives sprinkled in as well, and it was done really good. Book 2 continued on with that. It was really good, and we expanded the world, and we expanded how we knew and understood the world. It seemed like how the plot was going, it was going to turn into like a really fun, like kind of like adventurous fantasy where there was a goal and we worked towards it. And then at the end of book 2 there was quite a big twist, and I just don't feel good about it. I feel like it's going to change the entire trajectory of the book that I was really enjoying, and I'm hoping I still continue to enjoy the rest of the books, but I'm worried that now that the trajectory has changed so much, it won't be the same. But I guess I'll see as I continue on with the series and see how I feel about it. But right now I think it's a really good solid start of the series, and I'm intrigued to see where we go from there. So yeah. Oh, I feel like I've spoken for ages. I need to go get a drink, but those were all the books that I read in June. Sorry this has probably been a bit of an odd wrap up, an odd video, I don't even know. I've just been sat here talking. I've read off the computer. We've got the book titles and we've got the star rating, so hopefully everything else that I've said makes sense. Do hope you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you like to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!